nerds. How's it going? Welcome back to Nerdy 4 today. Today we're being Nerdy 4 X-Men.
Other nerds.
X-Men.
X-Men Woo Podcast.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, today we're being Nerdy for X-Men, which, to be honest, we're talking about the franchise, which equals movie, games, and everything else.
Woo!
It's X-Men.
Everything.
Yeah.
X-rated.
X-rated. X-Men, X-rated.
X-Force ain't ready, so there's going to be a lot of X puns. Like, X is going to give it to you.
Oh!
So today we're going to start on a few things. So what we're going to start on today with X-Men topic. Should we...
I think we should mention, where did our X-Men lives begin?
And
How did you get into X-Men?
it's probably the intro we all just did.
Are you sure about that?
I had no idea, like we're children of the 90s and we grew up just like, hey, I gotta get home from this half-past X-Men's going
So Curtis, you remember Fox Kids, right?
Yeah, Fox Kids. That still owns X-Men, eh? Fox.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
Fox.
but the thing is, Curtis, they get the characters right for X-Men because they do such great character studies based from the comic books. And we're talking about like
Fox
X-Men.
Kids did. Fox adults know shit.
So yeah, I'll start off with saying, yeah, it has to be the cartoon originally on Fox, Toonami, or all the original
Cartoon Network.
Cartoon Network.
I think now and again maybe was it
CTEX?
Yeah,
I can't remember. There's so many cartoon
it used to
programs.
be Fox Kids, then it changed to Toonami, and then sometimes
Jetix, that was another one.
Jetix, that's it.
A lot of
It became Netflix.
yeah. So yeah, I would have to say original cartoon where it involved a lot of the story and creating most of the characters, and I have to say that's when my X-Men journey started.
Yeah, I'm the same there as well. I think what I highly enjoy about that series, because I can still go back to that series now and rewatch the whole thing.
Yeah, get the box set.
And, yeah.
A quick side note, I was cleaning out just some old boxes and I found 2 VHSs of X-Men the
Oh,
Animals.
you legend.
And I remember paying like £80 back in those days. You got 4 sweet episodes, guys!
Oh my god!
Oh, brilliant. 360p. Oh my
Yes,
god.
360.
Graphics can't get any better.
What I really like about that series actually, and also with the Batman animated cartoon, which was during the same time,
Yeah.
both those series, I swear, they're probably gonna be the only two really, but both those series strongly followed like comic book lore on a lot of stuff, like arcs of stories, character development, powers, why they work and what happens with them, who's connected to who, and. There's a reason why I can still go back to it and rewatch the whole thing.
It went on for a very long time as well, so they just expanded everything.
Oh yeah.
Like from the comics, which originally did it, and then they went into this TV program. It was brilliant because they just expanded the universe of X-Men character-wise, character building. Like Wolverine, that's one of his major things he came from.
I see his majority of his fan base probably began because of that series. Because they did a lot of Wolverine Jubilee stuff. Because Jubilee was kind of like our introduction character, I'd say.
Yeah.
So for us to get involved into the series and why it's all working the way it is.
Okay, you guys are quite close to me and I'm ready to be beaten up for this, but I've got to be a man of my principles. Jubilee, worst X-Men ever.
I ain't gonna fight that.
Fireworks. Fireworks.
Yeah, pretty sparklies.
Yeah,
That's
versus
what
I
they
remember the animated like intro, which we sung beautifully at the beginning of the podcast. Like I remember her using fireworks against Sentinels, and I'm like, even as a kid, I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Are you even doing any damage?
What's happening? Are you putting on a show or are you trying to attack them?
Sentinel destroy me.
No, too pretty colours.
I think what yeah, because I admitted it because Jubilee's obviously a kid during that whole cartoon, and yeah, I even now I can still say she's quite annoying in it. But I tell you what, reading the comic books now, what was it? I think it was there was a story called Battle of the Atom.
Yes.
Basically, some point in the comic books before this, but Battle of the Atom, Jubilee has become basically a vampire, and
Comic books.
I can't. I think it's Curse of the Mutants or something. I can't remember the story now, but it involves like kind of like Blade and all his like villains of who are vampires.
Yeah.
And so she's ended up being part vampire now, and she's still got her mutant abilities as far as I'm aware. But what was one of the awesome things was Battle of the Atom. For me, I read Battle of the Atom before I read that particular story. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
But Battle of the Atom was me seeing Jubilee again for like a long time, because I was like, oh wow, Jubilee's in this. Okay, that's cool. And she's grown up.
Yeah.
And it's like not like she's still young because she's the youngest member out of like, the lot of them, and it's just cool seeing how she's kind of grown up throughout the series, and I guess her like personal experiences on her like struggles being a vampire now. At one point she did lose her powers, so that was another struggle, and she's regained them. My favorite part of this kind of whole arc of the X-Men comic books, she actually, I guess you could say, adopted a infant. And so now she's had all these struggles, but now she's also having the struggle of being a single mother. But it's nice to see that, the X-Men, because they're like a family.
Yeah.
They all pitch in, they take care when they can. There's a sweet moment between her, this baby, I can't remember his name at the moment, and Wolverine. And it's sweet because like Wolverine takes them out to the beach and everything. He's already got like umbrellas set up so she doesn't get hurt by the sun because of her vampire powers now.
Yeah.
And like it's sweet seeing one of these like again it's also a sweet Wolverine moment seeing that he can be a caring guy even though he's like one of the most savage characters we know.
Yeah.
And I would say, just linking into that, even though I've not seen the trailer, that's what the Logan is talking about, the idea, because it's all started, if we're talking just about his caring side, it's been done plenty of time in the comics.
Oh yeah.
When he became the headmaster in a great comic book series that Lewis recommended.
Wolverine and X-Men.
Wolverine.
Must be.
Yes.
An interesting fact that I just looked up. If you remember the X-Men in 2000, basically we meet Wolverine fighting and doing that, and we were met up with another X-Men, Rogue. But originally, one of the screenwriters were trying to actually make it Jubilee.
Oh,
but
wow.
a lot of the producers said, fireworks just looks dumb, let's try another one. And the idea of Rogue was a lot more easier to do.
Now, you know the reason why they said that?
Yeah.
Oh, we don't have the budget for fireworks. Have the girl who can touch you and kill you.
To be honest, her powers kind of changed from one to the other, like the original X-Men.
Oh,
yeah.
Like, the proper Texas voice to her. And
Oh, yeah.
where she's just physically strong and great ability to this X-Men 2000, where she's more in green, making the rogue figure with the dyed hair type thing, which we see in movies today. So that's got a big transition between one character development to another.
I tell you what I would have been interested in, because it says it in the cartoons as well, how she becomes like you said, she's super strong, she can fly and everything. That's through obviously absorbing practically the life force, if I remember right, for like Miss Marvel / Captain Marvel, and I would have loved how like the lawsuits would be working out if X-Men's first movie they had a Rogue like that, and then it's like, well, technically you're Fox and we're now Marvel Studios and we're making Captain Marvel the movie. Ooh. Does that mean they can use Rogue again? Ooh.
Well, it's funny because it could have been
alternate reality.
Could have been such a transition where if you in the first X-Men movie she's such a frail individual person that doesn't want to touch anyone.
Yeah.
It would have been nice when you see the third one she did this transition to be a stronger person. I would have loved to see
But the
that.
thing is,
Oh, I know he's gonna mention it now.
but the thing is, guys, women being powerful in movies. but the thing is, they do. But just like Kai says, with the critically acclaimed X-Men: The Last Stand, or X3 as other people, but talking about like strong characters, it's because they got Dark Phoenix right because of Shuriken. Okay.
Triggered.
What? They're just dead. But we all love the action sequences of just basically picking up cars, putting them on fire, and chucking them. It's not like that's like 85% of the action sequences. I'm not bitter at all.
Oh. Well, we already know that previous universe has been wiped from existence.
Pretty much.
We knew those movies had
It's
been
like,
wiped.
like Bryan Singer was like, nope, redo. Yeah,
Yeah.
guys.
You know,
It's just like, I left for one movie and you did this.
I do like.
Well, he left for a few movies, but.
So talking about original cartoon as we
Yeah.
start this podcast,
Yes.
we're going to say what's your favourite character from the series. I would like
Yes.
to
Ooh,
see.
I'm going to Alex go
I,
first.
Alex, you
I,
first.
going from the thing, basically, just to make Lewis and Curtis, my fellow co-hosts, really old. Basically, next year is the 15th anniversary of X-Men the anime. No, I was lying. It's the 25th. Because it started in 1992, where we were all just infants. So yes.
Depending on what, I was born then.
Yeah.
We're all born then.
Yes.
That's why we grew up with a
I
series.
said we were infants. Stop getting technical with me. You're not a nerd or anything.
So, okay, what's your favourite character
Okay.
on the original animated series? The first one, not the 2001.
Magneto.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's a pretty good choice.
It is a good choice.
And I will tell you guys a story of why that is.
He saved your life?
Yes. And basically, I like magnets.
End of story.
Alex is about to go into like full science behind magnets now.
Basically, actually, again, I was just finished school, didn't want to do my homework. I was just like.
So you were at the fridge playing with magnets.
Exactly. I turned on Fox Kids, all just like, yeah, and it was like, X-Men's like, oh, well, that seems fun. The intro got me, like it did all of us, probably.
It did,
I
yeah.
sat down, and unfortunately back then we didn't have the internet or on-demand stuff where we could just be like, I'm going to start beginning, so you, whatever episode you watch, they don't care if it's a rerun.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. It was the episode of Magneto's backstory.
Oh yeah.
Of the idea of, and then back then with the references to concentration camps, and they still did, and learning about the relationship between Professor X and Magneto.
Yeah.
And it's the idea of one of my favourite parts of the whole X-Men series is that relationship. I think that is one of the most compounding, because it's all based on the idea of when Stanley wrote comics about the idea of just not being ordinary, not being considered the norm, and the debates that go, which talked about race, sexuality, just the like mental health issues about the idea of that. And so that Magneto episode and learning go, oh, why is he a good guy? But in the intro he was fighting against what seemed to be the good guys, and just trying to wrap my hand around that and learning that. And it's a great example of a villain that, yes, can be clichédly put as the villain of the story, but you understand why, and you're like, yeah, Magneto, you do you. Yeah.
I like to say in movies nowadays, First Class and everything like that, it does.
Yeah, Michael Fassbender.
It does still have the chemistry with how they become friends and
Exactly.
trying to get the concept of. He's trying to get Magneto to be less violent and trying to forget about his past. Now it's good. I love the connection between them, even though after the big accident where he gets in the wheelchairs and they meet up again,
exactly.
there's such a big connection. So
Exactly.
yeah,
So it's all
nice
started from that episode that I just randomly turned on, and that was what dropped me in. And when I read comics, there's a lot of there was a great one I read recently about just focused him as a teenager, slowly learning his powers after World War II, and the idea of him being his parents dying in a concentration camp, and him going after Nazis, which was inspired in a scene in First Class. So again, Magneto's always been that. For the sake of balance for the good guys, love me a bit of Nightcrawler.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Go on, Lewis. What's your favourite character from the original series?
From the original series of the original cartoon, I tell you one who I really did become a massive fan of, and like a lot of people who probably did enjoy him as well, was Gambit.
Yeah.
And it's because he was like, you know, he was the cocky Cajun kind of guy, you know, he was a bit of a ladies' man, and I think what was interesting was he was one of the only few of them who fought with a weapon, which was like a bow staff. And I thought that was very interesting. More interesting though was the way he used his abilities of kinetic energy by throwing his ace of spades, his deck of cards and all that.
Yeah.
And I just thought, that's so cool, because you're carrying around something as like useless as a set of like a pack of cards, but you're able to make it into one of the most dangerous things known to man, which is like obviously explosions, bombs and all sorts.
Yeah.
And he was just he's one of the comedic factors of the whole series as well, which why I think growing up you say, this guy's making me laugh. You like him.
You like the chemistry between him and Rogue.
Yeah.
Him and Rogue's love story I highly enjoyed.
That's brilliant.
And I just found him very interesting. Again, it's basically me not as a deep connection as Alex with his Magneto, but it's just someone who I just really enjoyed seeing on screen. I wanted to watch more of him. Yeah, there's so many more X-Men who I enjoyed as well, but I'll pick out Gambit just for the sake of. I thought it was funny, I thought it was brilliant, and I love his ability.
Yeah.
What about you,
Not
Kurt?
like a movie that's meant to be coming out or coming out.
Meant to be coming out, might not be coming out. We don't know what's going on. Happy about the actor? Is the actor staying? We don't know.
Until that happens, I'm going to just say, just until it's
Yeah,
confirmed.
because when you see him in the movie, he's still got the fun character towards him. And I do love when you see him, he's already playing poker with the card tricks and everything. So it is good. I do love when you first meet him.
What about you, Curtis? Who's your favourite from the animated
Lewis already
series?
stole mine, so I better guess.
Oh, okay, let's be reverse time. Alright. So Curtis, you like Gambit? That's really cool, man.
Cool. I'll tell you why I like him. I don't know. All of them has their own characteristics, and in the TV program gives them all arcs and stuff that they have. But I'll say Colossus.
Colossus,
yes. I love Colossus for the sheer fact of he's just a big friendly giant, he's just it's so funny seeing him every single time he comes out. He's a strong individual, but he's still such a caring person.
Yeah.
Like this family scenario where they all live in the house together and he's being a teacher. I do love that. Yeah. They're all friendly and I would say Colossus, not much.
That's a good choice, man.
Because going back to the animated series, because I still again remember the ideal during the early 90s when this first started. I know we're old, deal with it. I remember there was an episode about Colossus about post-KGB times. The idea of Colossus being in defect. And it's going back to what you said about him being a big friendly giant and then learning about why he went to America and such. Again, I'm 100% with you now.
Yeah, it's lovely to find out. Because the good thing about the original animated series, because it went on for so long, I'm not sure how many years it went on for.
It went from 5 years, 1992 to 1997.
5 seasons, which is brilliant because they had the Phoenix arc and everything.
Yes.
Which they did perfectly well.
Yeah,
I said, they did whichever arc they focused on, they aced them.
Yeah, it's lovely. That's talked about the original TV series. So what should we go on to next? What do you feel?
I as the movie guy, before you make your jokes, you two. Yeah. I think
you're a movie guy.
You're a movie guy.
Okay. Again, this is how mutants felt when the ordinary citizens. Yes. It's only because I've got my own powers of watching a lot of movies and retaining like 80% worth of knowledge.
You're eye guy. You're the guy covered in eyes all over. You're Eye Man, that's it.
Eye Man. Eye Man's gonna watch you before you try and do anything, son.
Watch my documentary on Netflix.
I'd say let's go into a little discussion of the most recent
movie
that I did that I did a video on trying to sell people on why they should watch X-Men Apocalypse. Ooh.
Apocalypse?
Again, this doesn't have to be a particularly long, but we recently saw X-Men Apocalypse. What's your guys' thoughts? Curtis, I'm going to start with you.
Watch.
Boom. You said it'd be short.
So to be honest, everyone in there is amazing. Character story, backstories, everything like that. The visuals, abilities. No one's OP. They're never OP characters. It's just brilliant. It's a nice concept.
I liked how it basically was a movie for us from the 90s.
Exactly.
Like everyone who kind of grew up with the cartoon, because especially like the ending sort of scene where you see them in their own unique coloured costumes.
Yes.
Once I saw Cyclops, I practically lost it in the cinema.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, no way, they've actually gone that far.
Yeah.
The costumes!
I like that they had a lot of influence because now they originally have the white and it was the first class, and then they went on to
Days of Future Past.
And then they went on to this one. It's nice to see they started from when they were young now and carrying on from there.
Yes.
Which, with this movie, they carried on from the young X-Men, which
and going back to the school element,
hell yeah!
And again, I enjoyed it as well. I enjoyed some
Did
parts
you?
of it. Yeah, except. But anyway, that'll be for my video in the past, which you should check out. Links down below. Future work. Plug. Hey, we know that Curtis is mutant for the same plug a little bit too many times.
It's called a plug man. When you have a plug socket open, don't worry, get your colour.
Yeah, you got a V5 problem.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. From just being a filmmaking nerd, I enjoyed how Quicksilver's arrival and how that was shot, because there is a behind the scenes stuff that the Evan Peters, the guy who plays Quicksilver, was on set the longest compared to it, because they had to have their own second department to film that sequence, because because it's a lot of photo work individually, motion capture, all sorts
different
of
rooms and things like that.
and just if Evan Peters outlast Jennifer Lawrence, like Michael Fassbender, in terms of amount of time, because it took them so long. So I loved how that was, and there was a great behind the scenes feature.
Yeah, again, in all the previous movies, Quicksilver has been the one to kind of
steal the show.
Yeah, steal the show.
Yeah.
Again, so I really enjoyed that, and again, the core of what I was talking about. My best scenes are Professor X and Magneto. And when Professor X was talking to Magneto, going, "Hey man, I completely understand why you're like this," and then just the idea of Magneto going, "I've tried it your way. I see how people treat me," and it's the idea of like, and just the idea of the brotherhood between both of them, and just at the end you're going, Professor X little warning going, Magneto says, "Well, if they come for it," it's like Professor's like, "Bring it," and that sort of thing, and that just chemistry done brilliantly by Michael Fassbender, by Magneto, and James McAvoy for Professor X. But that unity is, I still argue, even though the Quicksilver scene is fantastic and funny and rewatchable, again, there's always going to be an emotional core element in each of this. And what worries me is if they again try and do an X-Men film without Professor X and Magneto.
Yeah, I think that would definitely be a struggle there if they try to do I can see them continuing it, focus on like they set up. They got a young Cyclops, Jean Grey, and the rest of them, but
because they hinted at Dark Phoenix with the end with Jean Grey.
Yeah.
But like you said, without kind of the Professor there and Magneto, it kind of takes away two of the biggest players they have in this new trilogy / franchise of the X-Men movies now.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's going back to like in the animated series, like Charles' students and the Dark Brotherhood, that Magneto's like every time they start to fight, but when Professor X and Magneto shows up, everyone's like, "Nope, not going to continue." It's like it's like
teachers are here.
It's like the adults. It's like it's like any professor is like, "No, I'm not going to start with Magneto." It's like, look what he did to Wolverine.
I love the sheer fact that it kind of shows behind of Magneto's abilities has been increased in some way or another.
Oh yeah.
Which I love.
Magneto core.
It has one of my favourite characters in it, which is Psylocke.
Oh yes.
She has been one of my previous favourites when I used to read a lot of comics back in the day. Psylocke was one of the characters I love because she was off doing everything.
That costume.
That costume.
I wonder why.
But yeah, it shows the ability where she uses her sword but then she also makes a beam type sword, which
her what's the psychic energy word?
Kinetic.
That's it. Yeah.
Telekinesis.
Well, it's it's one of those like psychic abilities she can make.
I guess I'm not psychic to read what you were trying to say. But a douche.
So it's nice because it shows some people's powers gaining more ability because of the Apocalypse character and characters in the movie as well. It's just it has one of our favourite characters in there, Jubilee.
She was so well done in that film.
Yeah.
Didn't even get a name drop.
She just looked like it. She didn't even get anything.
I recently rewatched it and I was like, I'm going to count how many words, and it's 15.
Oh my god.
Basically, when Cyclops is like, "Hey, let's go and watch a Star Wars movie," I'm like, okay, this is what I want to see. Screw like domestic. I would watch 2 hours of them in the cinema making commentary. It'd be a meta thing. I would love it, but that makes me a hipster film ass. But no, but then there was a deleted scene of a promotion for Charles' Store.
That was actually a trailer.
Oh, trailer.
That was actually it was like a deleted thing because it wasn't used. Like they didn't like really force front it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I remember I found it on like YouTube or something, and it came up, and I was like, "What's this?" Watched it, and I cried my eyes out because it was a case of like, "Oh my god, you've got more of an acting role in this one trailer than the whole movie."
I love that it does make loads of starts for a lot of things.
Yeah.
2 movies beforehand which showed the first class and again the character's ready. Now it shows this is the beginning of something beautiful, which they're going to continue with. Like at the end, you see everyone in their uniforms, all the youngsters actually getting involved, saving the adults and things. The first time you see Wolverine and how he escaped.
That was awesome. I really enjoyed that because again, nerd factor. They did a lot of detail to make it right.
There's a very famous picture of him with the thing with
the helmet
visor on and all that.
That was good because that's one of the scenes, one of the original images you see of Wolverine escaping. He's got all these things attached to him.
And I would like to bounce off there, talking about my favourite X-Men game. And one of the games that there was a superhero before the game that was really like mature, which was Wolverine's. I think it's like Revenge. Remember when it's just the hack and slash?
Yeah.
Yes, and it was just the idea of going back to that. I'm just like, I've escaped. I got my claws.
Because I had that game on GameCube, and I think one of the cool things was you actually had a button to get your claws out and track them. So it was a case of you could either fight barehanded or you just fight with the claws. But a nice little touch was the case of when you did it, you took damage like when you got them out the claws, and then it just healed, and it was like that's cool. I like that. That's it. The most annoying thing though was
It's
you're on about X-Men Origins?
Oh,
okay. I'm on about the old game.
Oh, really?
There's one Wolverine game on GameCube. It was on like PS2 as well. That is like you go back to like Weapon X type things and all that. The game I think you might be thinking about, which is more of a latest one.
Yeah, it's the Origins.
Is the Origin movies tie-in game?
Best, I'll say this, best video game movie adaptation because there's a lot. of stuff.
I've not played it myself, but I've seen like loads of reviews and like lots of other people say about it.
One a great hack and slash. This was during the time of when God of War was coming out and all that.
Yeah, I have to say for going back to GameCube, one of my favourite games to play was, if I remember it, was X-Men Legends.
Oh,
yes,
that game.
Because the story base and everything and the behind the scenes collectibles and everything in that game made you decide which X-Men character you want to play as.
What was your four? What was your main group?
I can't remember now. Wolverine wasn't there.
Just going back quickly, it was the X-Men 2 Wolverine's Revenge game I was talking about.
X-Men Legends.
And X-Men Legends, yes. And man, you're so right. That's probably still my favourite game in all fairness of X-Men.
Yeah. Because it reminds me so much of the original TV program. Mixed with this, you'll go through the school, you talk to Xavier, you go out, you go to some other area which you go meet up, you go into Nether Realm with Tygon and things like that. Type concept.
I can't remember if it was 1 or 2. I think it might have been 2 of X-Men Legends. And there's one moment where you got to go into like the psychic world, like the mind dimension, and your characters are Emma Frost, Jean Grey, and Professor Xavier. And this is the only time you can play as Professor Xavier. You can unlock him. I can't remember how though. Yeah. But the funniest thing about that level I found, because obviously you level up your characters.
Yeah.
So
I had an awesome Storm. Storm was my main.
Oh yeah.
Just because of distance lightning.
But so obviously you leveled up your characters like as you would throughout the game. This is the first time you've got Professor X. He's straight away. I'll just say, Phoenix, Emma Frost, leveling up. Oh yeah, they're about level 40.
Yeah.
Professor X is instantly level 99. And I was straight away like, I'm doing this whole level with you. And it was like, his recharge was like so stupid. It was like, mind wave, destroyed.
It's going back to what I said in the animated series. It's like Magneto and Professor X was like, no, I'm out.
It's good because it shows, like, little details like that show the factor of, you're training to be better X-Men, you learn abilities whilst you're learning your mutant powers, but also, when you get to be like, Professor X now, he's instantly powerful, and it shows that factor. I love that game because then the franchise went on to Avengers, didn't they?
Oh, it went on to the Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is nice because the X-Men universe is so big that it has so many tie-ins with different universes, and I love the factor of that. Like, you've got Deadpool, which in fact is in the same universe of mutants, and Deadpool.
Yeah.
You've got Avengers as well. It's got connections. You've got other groups. I remember, I think it is mostly in the Avengers game where you go to Doctor Strange's mythical bit.
Yeah,
and
you
then
go to his what's the mansion called?
The Protector of the Realm place.
Oh, okay, we can't
So-
remember. So
So yeah, in the X-Men game, it's nice because first of all you walk around the school and you can go in each person's room and you find everybody's rooms.
yeah.
So X-Men Legends, I love that factor. That
So
you get
Deadpool
to-
had a bunch of
I-
core.
I think there was like there's one mission. I completed the story, but this is obviously going back when I was a kid. I just did the story, whatever.
Yeah.
Playing it back, probably like a year after, I started realizing there was a lot of like side story missions you could do,
Yeah.
and one of them, and I found it so cool because in the first X-Men Legends game, your introduction character is Magma.
Yeah, Magma. Yeah,
And-
she's being chased by the brother.
Yeah. And
Wow,
it's
It's
a
been a while since I heard Magma. I can't remember.
oh
Wow.
Yeah.
there's lava stuff. Boom, done.
It's like, I wonder what Pyro does. Actually, he's
Water
a
base.
magician. Yeah, he's a water magician.
But no,
He's got
so
red hair.
there's one particular, I guess, it's not so much a mission. It's a bit of like downtime for the player.
Isn't it like comic books and you replay the comic books? and
Yes,
Yes.
yeah. You read the comic books, and then it unlocks like a bit of talking with another character.
stuff? Yeah.
And I remember there's one particular one. So basically, you do the first bit of the game. Oh yeah, we rescue Magma, whatever. Next mission or two, you're playing as just standard X-Men, Cyclops, Wolverine, the rest of them.
Yeah.
Eventually, you come back to Magma, and she's at the school,
Yes.
and she's just there, like writing her diary, just going, "Oh, it's so interesting here, so many nice people." Da 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 da. Then you get to walk around the school as her.
Yeah.
I remember I eventually found one room, or I think I took the Beast, and he mentioned about the Juggernaut, and I was like, Juggernaut? Oh, okay. Well, he's just gonna mention it. I've not seen Juggernaut in this game
No,
yet.
I know what you're going to talk about.
Yes.
And then it goes to a flashback
Yeah.
as the first class X-Men in their costumes, in their first class costumes,
Yeah.
as Cyclops, Iceman, Jean, and Beast. And you fight Juggernaut in the
Yes.
school, and it's like he's generally smashing
It's
walls
going through
down.
the walls and you have to take them down. Yes.
It was such a cool level. I was like, "What? How did I miss this?"
Because it's brilliant because it's like literally breaking through the school and damaging.
Oh, yeah.
Where's my brother and things like that. Which
Yes.
then the connection became of Juggernaut
Oh, yeah.
and Professor X is connected and
Yes.
things like that. It's brilliant. I love that.
And
I have
guess
to
what?
replay this game.
Because I think amazingly, but I got a bit of a negative here as well. They have on the PlayStation Store, probably Xbox as well. They have released digitally the Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Negative of this is they're like £30 a game.
Jesus.
And this is Activision being like greedy, money grabbing
Money,
corporation.
money,
It's not like they're up-to-date games.
No.
that make a lot of money or anything.
But this is, I think this is the thing as well, which makes it disgusting. It's not even like a HD. It's not like a
Wow.
remastered. It's just here's the base game you had on PS3 or whatever console it came out on.
I'm getting my GameCube out, man.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Like, Skyrim has recently done it at like the £30-40 price range, but they remastered it all. They
You got
put
mods.
more, like mods, but extended the field of view, like did a real work. And if they did that with like Ultimate Alliance, I know that.
because I think a good thing about that though is alright, it's a dirty price and it's
Yeah.
just like the old standard game you remember, which is a cool thing. But again, that dirty price is horrible. Maybe this is a way for them to kind of like build up, I guess, excitement to
Yeah,
maybe
interest.
to make a Ultimate Alliance free.
I would
Yes.
love if they did that.
Because I'd love to see, because the way I see the gameplay of X-Men Legends and Ultimate Alliance is similar to that of like something like Diablo or League of Legends. It's got that kind of like
Above field.
so
where
you switch
keep it-
between your
yeah.
players and you've all got like an objective
Yeah.
Yeah.
and you've all got your different skill slots, skill trees.
Blizzard, we know we love you guys and you're good at this concept. Can you
Come on, partner up with Marvel.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, they'll be doing. Have you heard?
Diablo
Yeah.
3's got a new
Yeah.
Thing.
Good time. And Overwatch 2.
Mm.
Nah, kidding. They're just doing really small things.
So,
But again,
Still waiting for Sombra.
Sombra.
It's finally been revealed, but when we're getting on consoles, that's all I'm saying.
So
But-
yeah, everyone's favorite game. We're gonna say it. Mine was Legends.
Mine was probably Legends 2.
Legends
because
2.
of the Apocalypse.
X-Men Origins Apocalypse.
Nice.
Origins X-Men Origins Wolverine.
They did a really good. They haven't done a decent X-Men game in ages, man.
I know the reason why. It's because of the whole case of movie rights are owned by Fox.
Yeah.
So Marvel doesn't want to put the money out for X-Men stuff
Yeah.
because it'll be giving money towards Fox because it'll be like, you've built it more interest for me to go see that new X-Men movie in the cinemas.
Just
Yeah.
get over your ego.
That yeah, because like
It ain't ego, buddy. It's the M, capital M, money.
but like such a disgusting thing.
But guys, we've been playing the X-Men game for the past like 8 months, but it hasn't been really called that. It's called Overwatch. We've got May as Ice, we've got Winston as Beast, and basically.
Actually, I tell you, that I only thought this the other day. Do you guys remember there being a Avengers cancelled game? That
Yes.
was like a first-person
Yeah.
kind of shooter type game, but
Yeah.
like if you were the Hulk, you'd generally run around with fist punching everything and whatever.
Yeah.
If you're Captain America, you got the shield, you can throw the shield. Iron Man's obviously more of a traditional shooter with his
Yeah.
pulse freeze,
Yeah.
and then Thor hammer, and he can do lightning.
Yeah.
I that cancelled game came to my head only the other day,
Yeah.
and I must have been playing Overwatch or something, or it might have been like me.
Oh.
And I just kind of went, they can now do it. Like, that kind of like, if Paladins and Legends of Titans can rip it off, come on, Marvel, just go, here's the Avengers game you wanted, better than ever. Like, you could have those like skill
Yeah.
trees of like, I'm Iron Man. My L1 is like Farah, or it could just be a rip of Farah, just
Yeah.
as Iron Man.
Exactly. Also, there has been a game, but I think Lewis has played it and so have you. But we're not talking about PCs. We're not talking about consoles. We're talking about the most profitable ones, and that's iOS.
Mobiles.
Mobile, Marvel Puzzle Quest, and there was another fighting game one.
Contest of Champions, I think it's
Contest
called,
of Champions.
which I still play to this day.
Yeah.
I don't
Again, so
It's basically a straight up fighter game, but it is so simple.
Yeah.
Because you swipe left because it's obviously touchscreens.
Yeah.
If you swipe left
you
with your
get matched on
you
Tinder, right?
can
No?
like dodge
No?
no. you like dodge backwards, or if you hold the left side of the screen, you block.
Yeah,
If you tap on the right, you're attacking. If
Yeah.
you hold, then you do a charge.
yeah.
And like I said, it's a very simple game, but I think because it's simple, it becomes addictive.
And I think because of that, they decided to go for a different franchise. Like Marvel at the moment has decided to do all the little micro figures for Marvel Universe.
Yeah, Disney Infinity. It's because
Infinity,
Marvel
like-
is owned
That's
by
been-
Disney.
I'll tell you one. You guys
And
might
it's
not know.
because of money.
They've surprisingly cancelled that game.
But there's been like 3 versions.
Yeah. There's like been, but like I'm not sure if they're like separate games though. I think they might be like deals. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
But they've officially stopped that franchise. They
Yeah.
said they're not going to continue it. And I tell you what, I was very surprised about that because Skyrim has become one of the most popular, most well successful games. Not Skyrim, Skylanders.
Skylanders.
Sorry, I always mix these ones up.
Skyrim.
If it's just Sky, I'm just going to go with Rim.
Yeah.
Wait. But no, because obviously it's. Well, I generally still think that.
Yeah.
I've not played Skylanders, but I can see the benefit of that for kids because it's like, what's that? It's a video game. Kids love video games, but it's also toys. Kids also love toys. You've just combined the most two popular things for
Money.
kids.
I guess it was because there's such a market for it that Skylanders did it first, and then Legos decided to jump on with Dimension.
That's the one, yeah.
And then they most
Oh,
likely
yeah.
went, oh, our figures cost a bit too much, and no one's really buying it. We'll just stop this franchise.
But like you'd think though, because like
Yeah.
obviously it wasn't just Marvel stuff. It's obviously it's Disney, so there's like Mickey
Yeah.
Mouses and everything, as well as like all the other types of Pixar movies,
Cars and
Toy
everything,
Story,
yeah.
Incredibles.
Because isn't that there's a rumor about Marvel being into Kingdom Hearts? Because now
What-
that Disney's owned it.
As a Kingdom Hearts fan, I hope that's a possibility. Same with Star Wars.
Yeah.
But at this current point in time, they've confirmed nothing. The only thing they've because the next game for Kingdom Hearts, first of all, if people don't know, Kingdom Hearts is a Disney and Square Enix game, which is mainly known for Final Fantasy.
Hell yeah.
So it's basically Final Fantasy meets Disney.
Yeah.
Now, the only thing, the next game they got released coming out is Kingdom Hearts 3, which
Yeah.
has been like 10 years in the waiting, basically.
Yeah.
We've had lots of spin-offs between
Like
then and now.
3, 2.4, 2.5,
Birth by
2.6,
Sleep.
2.7, 2.8.
Yeah. Oh, and then all the HD
All
versions
the HD
Yeah.
with like bonus things. But no, the only thing they've confirmed really for this Kingdom Hearts 3 is you're getting a level about Tangled, so like
Yeah.
Rapunzel,
Of course. Frozen?
and then probably at some point, but not at the moment, they haven't confirmed. But the only other thing they've confirmed is Big Hero 6.
Okay. That makes
Yeah.
And I
sense.
think that's the only thing I can see them probably. I think that's them basically going. We're not going to bring Marvel into it because maybe there's a little bit too much lore there to get involved. But hey, if we do this Pixar one or Disney, if it's just Disney, I don't know if it's Pixar or either. Maybe that's the easier way for them to go. It's Heroes, but it's still strongly Disney based.
Yeah, because that means with the Kingdom Hearts they've got a lot of like Square Enix and Disney, and then would it be the Lego games that do Star Wars and then
Maybe, but
and
like
Marvel, right?
with
so it
the-
would have the Venn diagram covered by Disney. So like we've got games if you want to do this.
probably.
Yeah.
My only other thing would be is I can definitely see a Star Wars world because I think it was in Birth by Sleep, which was the PSP game, which was set 10 years prior to the first one. So it's a bit more like it's set. This is how the world has become. So this game explains all that, and they actually have a.
Yeah.
Do you remember seeing Lilo and Stitch?
Yes.
You know they got the galactic ship.
Family means never leaving them behind. Because
Ohana means
Ohana.
family.
Ohana curse.
Oh,
There's a big hug out right now in this podcast. But yeah, no, they made a world about the kind of like more so the Stitch world, so set in space because that's what Kingdom Hearts is. You could do each individual world through space. Each world is a Disney movie / Disney property of some sort or a Final Fantasy one. And
that's my Nicolas Cage, The Magician's Apprentice book.
But no, I think especially with like the Force Awakens,
Yeah.
I can definitely see them jumping on the bandwagon there, going, we could do a Force Awakens type world, or even if it was older Star Wars, they could do the Death Star as a planet.
I
Adventure.
pose a question to you, Lewis, Star Wars expert. Is there any new planets in Force Awakens?
The only new one,
Yeah.
because you put me on the spot. The only new one I'm gonna really think of is the. Is it the Death? Not the Death Star, but what's the one above it now? The whole planet, that planet size one. I can't think of the name.
Yeah.
Annoyingly, that's the only one I can.
that
Oh,
reminds me-
oh, God! Again, it's the names now.
Yeah.
Where they meet the girl. Damn it, Alex! You put me on the spot here.
He's not a Star Wars fan.
You're such a. You set me up to talk about X-Men, and now you're trying to make me talk about Star Wars.
I didn't even know where we went with.
Yeah, exactly. With now Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy, but no, there is a few new worlds where you meet Rey for the first time. That's a new
There's
world.
a few ones.
So there's a desert one, a snow one.
Basically, I want to say Force Awakens. Every planet we went to was new. The only planet that was old that I can remember seeing was Alderaan, which got blown up.
Okay.
So talking about Kingdom Hearts, one quickly before we go back to X-Men because we went so far off agenda.
Maybe it wasn't Alderaan.
Talk about Kingdom Hearts 3 because it's not
The chibi game, Lewis. Remember?
Shut up. We don't mention that.
The Square Enix one, and basically, I was texting him and he was like, "Oh, Kingdom Hearts 3's coming up. Oh, I can't wait." And then basically a trailer for the
Final Fantasy world.
Yeah, and it's like the most chippy one thing, and I'm texting him going, "Is this Kingdom Hearts 3?" And I just oh no, that's not it.
So yeah, talk about Kingdom Hearts 3. One good thing is because the last Kingdom Hearts 2 one and previous games has come on consoles that you can't really get DLC for.
Yeah.
Because now Kingdom Hearts got to be on PS4, which has a lot of DLC access. You never know. They can bring in a few worlds, and they can say, "Oh yeah, there's a few more worlds open now of different universes." So they can give you a base game, say, "Oh yeah, all the original worlds, but update graphics." And then we go, okay, now we've got Tangled and a couple other universes that's got to be involved, which you could do that. You could go in your main hub and then magically go on to these other adventures now, which will be awesome. But go back to X-Men.
Yeah.
X-Men games, what would you love to see and things like that? I would
Well,
love,
if they made a new
I would
one.
love to see a Legends 3.
Yeah.
I would love to see a Legends 3 to see what they do with it with PS4 graphics. Same basis, where it's Sky View. But I'd love to see like up to date version of it with more story. in
You
it.
can have probably like a bigger cast because of the size of these like
Yeah.
games can be now like 50 gigabytes worth of data.
Yeah.
Because like it wouldn't have to be too much of a, I guess, a big file of a game. So because of like it would technically be simple. You can make it like what's the style of use like where you make things cartoony.
Pencil shaded.
Oh.
Skin shaded. Cell shaded.
So, yeah.
Nice one, Alex.
So you can do shell shading type graphics, like kind of like a Telltale game,
Yeah.
and then it would be like, because our friend Dave, graphic designer, he said it's one of the easiest things. So I can see them doing something like that, makes it a little bit cartoony, a bit comic booky, and then simple use,
Yeah.
and then use a lot of the data for like focus on maybe on abilities and characters. Yeah. So I'd happily see X-Men Legends 3.
Yeah, I would love to see what they do.
One thing I like to see them to do, and they've already done it before, and I don't know why it wasn't a success. That X-Men Destiny game,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
where you can,
create your own character.
practically, because it was like, okay, 3 choices. You can either be this Asian girl, this
Jubilee.
this guy who's part of the like kind of like protesters against mutants,
Yeah.
Fair enough.
or you got this like typical like high school jock football player kind of
Yeah.
guy.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden you get powers, and you get to choose like what shadows,
way you wanna
lights,
go,
or like rock-based abilities. And then throughout that adventure, every time like a big event happens where it's like something's gonna kill you,
Yep.
like with a lot of mutant powers that we see in cartoons or comic books, when something drastic's about to happen, like maybe they're gonna die,
Yep.
their like kind of mutant genes evolve and never steps to
That's
begin.
why with Pyro and Iceman, when Pyro's getting Iceman down and nearly killing him, he actually gets his ability
To
of
go full ice.
full ice, and he says, "Well, you should have still carried on studying."
Yeah. So like, and like because I think it was Ghost Robo or someone on YouTube I was watching do like a playthrough of X-Men Destiny, and I thought it was such a good game. There was an article or reason why it wasn't so successful, or they had to be taken down the shelves.
Yes.
Something. Anyway, I'd love to see a kind of like create your own kind of character game of X-Men. Make your own mutant, even if it was just a general Marvel one, like kind of like a similar to Ultimate Alliance.
Yeah.
Customize your character. Do you want to be more of a tech user, so you make your own kind of like, or you get like armor pieces, become like an Iron Man type character? Do you want to be more of a science person, like maybe like the Hulk or Ant-Man or Captain America, because technically it's science, or Beast,
More physical person like Colossus and Beast than that.
yeah, and or like general mutant.
So, like, we've already seen possibilities of creating things in a universe with Dragon Ball Z Universe 2.
DC Universe Online's another one.
DC Universe Online. We've seen
Marvel
such
Legends or something?
Yeah, I think it's like
They've
that.
done such a. You can create such a great game where you can make your own characters without restrictions. Cause
Yeah.
I think the reason Destiny didn't go so well is because there was restrictions to free characters. You can't really change what they look like and their
Oh,
abilities.
It's one of the worst, I'd say, character creations.
So-
Yeah, I'd say that.
Restrictions to characters, but its universe is good because you get you got the Boo, Frieza.
They give you the choice of the race you want to be,
Yeah.
the sexuality you want to be, depending if you can change. Like if you're a Namekian, they're
No,
all
they're
males.
all
That's
males,
it. That's
sorry.
the lore. The Frieza race is a confusing one because I still don't know if they're males or females, but
Doesn't matter.
doesn't matter.
Doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
You make what you want. But yeah, no, I'm still with you because I at the moment I still play Xenoverse 1 at the moment because I've made Saitama from One Punch, which I was surprised at how like I want to be the strongest hero. So yeah, that's my vocals. But yeah, because what I'm doing with Xenoverse is I'm making Saitama so that he continues into the next game where I can make Genos.
Yeah.
So, but it's one of the most best customizations I've ever done for like a character, create your own character type game.
So if they had that character creation and made a X-Men, because I'm not sure game-wise how much Fox and Marvel has the ability to make things together. If it was a big one, X-Men and Avengers together in a game, that'd be like, here we go.
Lego,
Well,
basically.
With this whole case of maybe they might do Ultimate Alliance 3, because both Alliance 1 and 2, and I guess the Legends games, focused on like big story elements from those characters.
Yeah.
I think Ultimate Alliance focused on like... I'll go back to 2 actually, because that's the one I definitely know. 2 focused on Civil War
Mm.
type story. I went into went into the Civil War story, and then halfway through it went into Secret War story.
Mm.
And I thought that was such a great. They obviously had to change it slightly because like whichever characters they had in the game or how it was going to be told. But I thought they did a good enough job. And I think the best story they could do for Ultimate Alliance 3, Avengers versus X-Men.
Yeah.
Because in the
Okay.
comic books at the moment,
Yeah.
like, even though that story came out, I don't know, 2 years ago, maybe 3, 4, maybe even 4 years
it's
ago.
got
Damn.
on that one.
But yeah, I think that story still holds like a massive effect in the entire like
Yeah.
universe of comic books of Marvel now.
Yeah.
Because it's like anytime like a mutant, like the X-Men meets an Avenger, some kind of tension's there, or something gets mentioned about like, oh, we can't trust you anymore, Cyclops, because of what you did back then.
Yeah.
Same thing for X-Men. We can't trust you, Avengers, because you were gonna rat us out, or something along the lines of that. And I think it'd be a great dynamic of, because my favorite part of Ultimate Alliance 2 was, what side do you want to be on? Do you side with Captain America? Do you side with Iron Man?
Yeah.
And it completely
Team
changed
Hulk.
the game. The Team Hulk.
That'd be pretty
Team
cool.
4, he wasn't there.
Do you want to be an X-Men? Do you want to be
Yeah.
Avenger?
So you make your choice, and then
Defender.
like that Ultimate Alliance did for that part of the game when you made your choice up until like sort of the finale, certain characters were locked out. So like if you say in this game, I want to be with the Avengers, that means you can't use Iceman and Cyclops for like the next 10 missions until like the big baddie reveals himself, and then they all come together again.
Yeah. Because the good thing about the Ultimate Alliance is I love moving around, but also having your other characters and the RPG style where you give them abilities. You go, okay, I want to concentrate on your attack. I want to concentrate on your beam ability because it's
Yeah.
better. I love the RPG factor to all these games. I would love to see a new one. That'd be pretty awesome.
Alex, what game would you like to see?
Alright, fellas, get yourself ready. I got a pitch. Alright,
Okay.
okay.
Sell it to me.
Sell it to me. Alright. Basically.
Oh, it's another movie.
Oh, fine. Fine.
Sell it to me, buddy.
We got it. Deadpool 2's coming out, okay?
Yeah. You guys have heard or played Life is Strange? Okay.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
heard about it?
I've played it. It's like Telltale's.
Yeah,
type stuff.
Telltale's stuff. Because going back to quickly with X-Men Apocalypse, what I loved was just the basically school and like Cyclops meeting Jean and stuff, and like that sort of the school dynamics is what I'm more interested because I've seen everyone's just fighting. And
You're taking my Telltale's idea.
I'm
I said this in a podcast.
I'm mixing it slightly.
He's stealing it.
He's straight right in front of me.
I ain't stealing it. It's called a creative copy. Basically, hey, remember when Zoids came out was first and then Transformers came afterwards? Your Zoids, you came out with basically Transformers, but
Hey,
I'm going
Swords
to make it
came out
money.
afterwards.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the one that makes it money. But yeah, it's going towards your idea, but I've got ideas.
Right, Gundam Wing, come down.
Yeah, go on.
It's like Power Rangers and Voltron. There you go.
Exactly. What's Power Rangers? Okay.
I'm surprised you said that, not what's Voltron.
I'm a hipster, of course. I had to pick the less mainstream option, of course. But Ace, basically, based on Lewis's Telltale game, because every idea is Lewis's.
Yes, thank you for noticing.
Fair enough. Basically,
Plug.
episode
Plug.
1, because if you want to do the Telltale form, it's fine. Basically, you know how...
Life was Strange was still based by episodes.
Yeah, sort of, but it's not Telltale. It's something else.
It's
It's
not
just like my
Telltale.
idea is not your Telltale game. So,
White Square Enix one now.
I know, exactly. But it starts off, you know, when you have like create your characters, but this is a bit different because in like DC Ultimate, DC Online, DC Universe Online, you have like a mentor, like you got Batman, Superman, whoever.
Yeah.
I think at the beginning it's like choose your mentor type thing, but the thing is like you choose Iceman, Wolverine, all that, but you are a relative of that. So if you're Wolverine, you have Bone Claws. If you have Iceman, doing that, and basically you pick like out of 4 or 5. And then basically, pick your gender, like male, female. You go towards the school, and it's basically there's very little action, tiny amounts, and it's basically make it a school drama. It's like you go to school, and there's like toads, like toads son being an ass to you and getting you in detention from Storm, and it's just the school dynamics, and like at like episode 3, episode 4, or like that thing. you get into a fight with a kid who's been harassing you, and you're about to start stuff, and then the music builds and builds and builds. There's a bass like boom, boom, and there's a rolling sound. It's a roller, and you don't see it.
It's the blob.
It's the blob, and then just it pans up, and there's Professor X staring you down
From his chair.
from his chair, and basically he's like,
Isn't that staring up?
they're children.
Okay.
He
level
tripped.
I level buddy, and it's just basically it's like, what are you doing? And just getting the idea of going back to my animated series about the fear of both. And I would love, like, near the end of episode 4 or 5 of Telltale, whatever, like Magneto comes, and you're just trying to rush to school, and then someone's in front of you, and you look up, and you just see Magneto say, what are you doing, child? And the fear and the panic, I would love to get that sort of atmosphere from a game. And it's the ideal, there are choices, and like whoever your mentor is, like I said, Wolverine, and so if you don't, it's like Wolverine's like, you've got to focus your side, stop fighting. But it's like, if you do that, it's like he's going to get angry, so there's like a connection there.
Yeah.
And I think, and just have very little action, maybe go a bit to like the first volume of Wolverine and the X-Men when mutants crush the thing and it's like kids got to defend the school. Bit like in X-Men 2 when the army comes and Colossus and like everyone's, and it's sort of like a babysitting vibe. It's like babysitting.
So you got to like, stand up and like defend the school yourself.
And defend the schools using like, you're not that strong mutants, but you've got to use it creatively. It's like, okay, do I go upstairs and do like my fire blast down, or do it low, and have like little choices like that.
It's like episode 2 to 3 with Kat, isn't it?
Yes.
She can go through walls. In number 2, she's useless. In number 3, she's she actually become an important person.
Oh damn!
Hey, I'm here to save you. I cancel abilities. God
Damn it! And then Joker looking after her.
And there's one moment that I would love to do, because it's my favourite X-Men moment out of all the movies. Basically, you're going to try and find Wolverine, and then it's going like this. It's like, hey Wolverine, I need your help. And he just goes, fuck off. To a child. And he just goes, in X-Men First Class, when Wolverine is like, oh, buddy.
Magneto.
Professor
X.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
he
he just
walks
comes
in,
in,
yeah.
and he's just having a beer. Lewis, this is basically how we get guys to come. He's having a beer. It's like, okay, buddy, we've got to do podcasts. He's like, no, fuck off. And I love that. That's still one of my favourite moments.
Yeah,
so I have a
that's how they
question for
got me
both
here
of you,
today.
Curtis and Lewis. What are your favourite moments? It could be games or that, but that's the number one thing for me.
That Wolverine drinking scene?
Yeah, yeah, just like
Your game is just like Bully mixed with the comic Batman Gotham Academy.
Yeah, all Life is Strange as
It's
well.
just like mixed into one, isn't it? There.
Yeah. I like school dramas. Like,
Just quickly, like I said in our Telltale podcast, that's the best idea I think they could do for an X-Men story-based game like that.
Yeah.
You know, make it the school drama. Because like a lot
the
of
end of the world stuff is like, okay, I've just defeated this, did the R1-2 combo, they're all dead. Like, nice.
But like, whereas you can have a story-based game about the actual school, because this is the reason why Wolverine and the X-Men is one of my favorite comic books, because it focuses on the new class of students and what they do in the school, like what's the school become now. And I tell you, because like, my favorite moment, which I'll tell you, is from this book. Like I joked earlier, saying because you like movies and you see them all. You're I-Man. There's actually that's the character I'm on about. There's a character,
I didn't react.
I know.
Because mutants are supposed to stand above the general public's hate and abuse. That's what Professor Charles Xavier
with all their eyes. But no, there's one kid in there who is like I said earlier. This guy, his only power or mutation is his body is 100% covered in eyes. So he's got eyes on his palms, back of his head, his throat, and all that, all sorts. But later on, and he's one of the kind of like the weakest in the new class. You've got Kid Apocalypse, who is Apocalypse and reverted into a child. He's obviously all godly, powerful.
There's a great Deadpool scene of like him going and trying to reading, oh, this is what done, and then Deadpool's like, don't worry about it, it's some Playboys. This is what real teenagers need to do.
You got Kid Omega, who's as powerful as Professor X as a psychic. So again, there's a lot of other students who are powerful, and then you got this guy who's mutated to have all these eyes. So he thinks of himself as a weak and all this. He's a bit fragile. There's one moment where I can't even remember how he gets them, but I think it's like, you know, the class is being attacked, and he finds these 2 guns on the floor, and he picks them up in like the panic because he's thinking like, I need to defend myself. His eyes give him the best accuracy you could possibly ask for, to the point of he sees all enemies coming from behind him, so straight away he knows to put the gun behind him, go pow, and you know, shoots that guy. One of my favourite moments is the end of this comic book.
Yeah.
You get a time skip to the future, and Wolverine is like an old man now, like kind of Professor Xavier as the head principal of the school.
Yeah.
And he goes around. At this point, the school's been a bit on the down. Like, there's not been that many students wanting to enroll. Anyway, he goes visits some of his old students who are from the new class, and they're obviously adults now.
Yeah.
He meets I-Man now, and he's one of the most badass. He becomes one of the most badass characters. He becomes like surveillance for the world because he has like loads of more. He's basically the room in Matrix 2 or 3. The guy with the, you know, he's in that tower.
The architect.
The architect, and he's in like a similar thing in a tower with all these screens surrounding him.
Yeah.
All his eyes obviously view him, and he's able to go, all right, Cyclops, I need to send you down to the Savage Lands because there's an issue here.
Yeah.
Magneto's attacking the president again, whoever's nearby, whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like an important role, and then someone radios him saying like, look, we're a man down, we need someone with a lot of accuracy, can you come down? And he descends himself, and he's got this whole kind of like, I want to say it's like a nanobite suit, because it goes all over his skin and his eyes to protect him from like damage, but he's able to still view outside of him. Yeah. And then he's got like a jetpack, and he goes down. And it's one of these like moments, like, you followed this kid from being nothing with one of the most weakest abilities you can probably think of, to it actually becoming a good ability, depending on how you use it, which is what I like about a lot of X-Men abilities. Yeah. And then, you know, he builds the confidence, there's a lot of character development, and then to see what he would eventually become, I think it's an awesome story.
That's great, yeah.
And that's how I would like to see that game you mentioned go, in a similar fashion.
Okay, what's your favourite moment?
That time Gambit slapped Rogue on the ass.
Yeah. I don't know, the movie franchise is brilliant, and there's always loads of great moments in it. It's hard to pick any because being such a big fan of the X-Men universe.
I tell you one series not one series, one animated series I guess we didn't mention was X-Men Evolution.
Because it's terrible.
What?
It's not that bad. It's good. I like the character development.
Good. I like to see that Jeff eyes when it just
Yeah, I like to see the character development in it. It's nice to see all these different characters and a different.
I guess we were all in secondary school when we were watching it, because
Oh,
that was
yeah.
like 2000.
Oh, yeah.
And just like,
Back in my day.
okay. No, I didn't have a cartoon crush on Keith Ryan. Yeah.
I tell you, X-Men Evolution, my favourite series was the finale of that, because sadly it got cancelled, so they weren't able to do a season 3, I think it would have been.
Bring it back.
And what I like what the creators of that series did was, right, well, our finale is going to be of like, you know, flash forward of like, you know, what could happen eventually.
Yeah.
And it was, they showed everything they wanted to touch upon.
Yeah.
X-Force, Phoenix, all that type of stuff, what the characters would look like. And again, it's another interesting thing of, you know, you kind of watch these characters from X-Men Evolutions anyway. You watch them growing up in mutant school, real school, like, you know, with all humans, trying to, you know, make sure people don't find out they're mutants. Yeah. And then when they do, it's like the whole discrimination factor comes into it, and then you feel sorry for them, and it's seeing like a character grow.
I guess that's one thing we all love about the X-Men is seeing that at first they have a small ability and they make it bigger than it actually is. That every individual mutant can evolve their ability to a better thing or use it in a positive way, which is brilliant.
It's going back to what X-Men's all about. It's the idea of like why a lot of people are fans is because the idea of being the outsider for many different reasons, for like who we feel we are, who we actually are, and I think X-Men's the stories are great because like the problems you think you have as a child and the torment you go through, you can grow on that, and that can help you become one of your strengths.
I definitely say, because I've said this in a previous video on my YouTube channel, X-Men is probably my favourite franchise of like hero groups or whatever you want to say. And again, it is to do with the whole like nostalgia factor of I've grown up with it, that's the thing. But I definitely see this as it's affected my life in the way as I see the world, how I treat other people who are different than me.
Yeah.
If you're a different nationality to me, if you have a different disability than I or something like that, I don't judge. I just carry on my life as like, hey, you're a human being. That's the main thing. You're just another person.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, I think that's a great point.
I think because we did a recent movie that's going to be coming out in the future, so I haven't watched that one, which is the Wolverine one.
Logan.
Logan, yeah.
Which I pose a question to this: as we grew up on the series of like we know who Wolverine's real name, I'm worried on the fact like again, but this is going back to I have an issue about Marvel's like you've watched all these other movies, but I'm interested from like a general. If you just see on the thing Logan, and if you don't know who Logan is that going to hurt it financially? Because with like Wolverine, there's sort of a symbolic thing, and I'm interested to know because just the name. Whilst I think it's a great little name,
I guarantee this: the promotion for it, like the posters, will say X-Men's Logan.
Yeah, from the X-Men universe type stuff. Yeah.
So one thing from your question, I'd like to say this for a finish up, just to finish on this question. Wolverine yet again wasn't originally in the X-Men. He came into it later on. He wasn't one of the originals.
Yep.
But because of who he is franchised through the movie and through everything else,
Hugh
made him
Jackman,
what he is, had his own
great
movies and everything like that. What other character would you love to see carry on that type of concept where these individual people, like if Rogue had her own movie, had her big come something big, because Wolverine's came from not being the main thing to the main thing.
Yeah. Like, because even though I said this in my previous video on my channel, even though I do enjoy Wolverine as a character, he's not one of my top favourites. I think there's better X-Men out there who have more of a interesting background story or interesting character development to them.
Yeah.
But I think because like you said, Alex, the reason why Wolverine has skyrocketed from being, like Curtis said, not being from the first team, but being from the sort of second team, to like becoming the face of the X-Men, you could say, is because Hugh Jackman's performance in the movies.
Yeah.
Now, the only one what I feel like the original trilogy did bad for one particular character was Cyclops.
Yeah.
Whereas if you read the books, Cyclops is one of the best characters in that whole story.
Yeah.
But because of the Hugh Jackman performance, he got overshadowed.
He overtook James Marsden.
Yeah, but so I'd like them with this whole kind of like new generation after X-Men Apocalypse, and them doing a good job with their Cyclops. I like to see him get a bit more like FaceTime, I guess.
Yeah.
Take more of a central role, show the leader that he is.
Yeah.
In the books, he's a strong, independent leader who supports his team.
At the end of Apocalypse, we see them all in their suits, ready to fight, and we know Mystique's there.
Yes.
But you have to get to the point where they grow up and lead. So you would love to see who would take on the leading role of all these characters. I would like to see Nightcrawler take some sort of push to be the main person in charge, because from the big universe, we've seen so many characters from comics to video games to that
cartoons and
all sorts. I'd love to see such a big improvement to character development, bit more origins to some other people, or love to see Nightcrawler come out, because Wolverine's had origins. Wolverine when he's worried about samurai katana and things like that. We've seen so many Wolverine. I'd love to see Cyclops, or someone else.
Yeah.
Okay.
I take just because we've all watched X2, X-Men 2, the movie, and obviously that was Nightcrawler's first live performance from someone.
Yes, live action.
And he did a very good job, I felt, and again, it made you interested in the character because they did make him a focal point.
And about the idea of bringing in religion into mutants, about the idea of like having a God-worthy following type stuff.
Because like probably a lot of people who questioned why wasn't he in X-Ray.
Yeah.
There's a X-Men 2 video game, not the Wolverine's Revenge, but where you get to play as Nightcrawler, Iceman, and I think it's probably going to be Wolverine. Yeah. But I mainly remember it being awesome because you get to play as Iceman doing all the sledding in the air, and then
Frozone?
Frozone, yeah. Where's Matt's super suit?
Where Matt's super suit?
Honey, the world's going.
It's for the greater good.
I've been planning this dinner for weeks. Honey, tell me what my super suit is.
Bring
Best
the second
Iceman.
Incredibles 2, come
movie.
on.
Go on.
But yeah, no, and then in the same game as well, you get to play as Nightcrawler, which was it's very interesting because it is playing as a character who teleports.
Yes.
And I think that was the most interesting point for me in that video game.
Yeah.
But anyway, by the end of that story, or his part of the story, he basically, he's doing his like X-Men jobs, and he's working with like Colossus, going through the story. He ends up, I think his main boss at the end of it is Multiple Man, and
I wonder why.
he basically ends up and he goes like, no, I've had a good life, but I don't think I can keep doing this. I'm going to go back to my church
Sure.
and return back to my roots because I feel like I've been lacking my religion. And that's meant to be the tie-in on why he's not in X-Ray.
Okay, yeah, that's good.
So it was interesting to see that, as a younger kid, whatever, and playing the game and finding out why. But at the same time, I wish they still touched upon it in the actual movie.
Yeah.
I guess this is my movie segment. Oh, okay, stretch up. Okay, we've got 6.
And thanks for listening to this podcast.
Oh no! I praise this because again, talking about the game, I want a little action movie. We got Logan. We know that there's going to be a lot of claws and hopefully more blood.
Old man Logan, come on.
Yeah, it's going back to an old answer. But what I would like is a prison movie. And again, I'm a hipster film nerd. You both know this.
Yeah.
I would love, even though they've confirmed it's their last performance, I would love a 4-actor thing of Ian McKellen, Patrick Stewart, James McAvoy, and Michael Fassbender. And it's basically this. They finally found a way to kill Magneto, and he's been given a death sentence. But one of his final wishes is having a game of chess with his old friend. So it's basically start of the movie just doing that, and they have a chess to go. What adventure we had! And one of my favourite lines again, not the fuck off for mess with this. It's like in Days of Future Past when Magneto's dying. So we spent why are we at this stage, friend? We spent too much of our lives arguing, and that sort of moment. And I wish there was the thing of just going back to like them having chess and just talking about debating who they are, and then flashback into when Michael Fassbender, that young Magneto, was in prison again doing a chess match, and just have a 90 minutes, no action, no, all set in one room, of them just talking about how we grow older, what we predict when we were young to what we actually are as old men.
Yeah.
And then here's the M. Night Shyamalan twist. Basically, as they're about to get ready, the Dark Brotherhood of Mutants break down and basically rescue Magneto, but in the process, Charles Xavier gets hurt and dies. And basically, Magneto is like looking at him and like he looks straight into his eyes and go, "I'm sorry, my friend." Cut to credits.
Hipster movie. hipster movie.
I will get an Oscar for it.
But yeah, that just reminds me of the end of the Fruit movie where he thinks his abilities have been lost and he sits there by himself with the chess and he just moves a little bit. I like the concept of that.
Yeah, I like the idea of just a simple thing because all the action, it's been, except for the Quicksilver stuff, all the action doesn't really excite me. So I would rather just have a dialogue thing and just be like, yeah, life is new, we all have our own differences and we all have a different way of
That'd
thinking.
be pretty good.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're going to finish up. So X-Men Apocalypse movie is
out now.
And there's a video on the channel of me trying to sell you on it.
So yeah, have a look at Alex's channel for that.
And I'm going to go buy the Steelbook covers.
Nice.
Noah's going to go buy the still cover.
It's the movie buyer.
hipster movie.
I'm going to try and read a comic or two because it's not in my collection yet.
Yes.
I know.
Nah.
Bring back the franchise.
Yeah. Bring it back.
But yeah, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hope you enjoyed today's podcast, but we're going to end up now and going to
Nerds! X-Nerds! Out!
Thank you for watching.